The following podcast contains coarse language and adult themes. This week on the show, we're joined for the first time by a very special guest, a host with the most, a legend of tomorrow herself, as we three chat the Arrow, Flash, Supergirl, Superman Lois, Batwoman, Black Lightning, Legends of Tomorrow, Stargirl, Naomi, Constantine, Titans-averse. I'm Riggs.
I'm Maddie.
And I'm Leanne.
And this is the Film Addicts podcast. Hey friends, and welcome back to the Film Addicts podcast. I'm here with Addie and our very special guest, Leanne. How are you?
I'm doing fine. Thanks for having me on.
No, thank you so much for coming on. Leanne, you are a good friend of Addie's. You're a fellow film critic. You're on Instagram at Film Addict and TV Critic. First thing I want to know is, what is your relationship with Addie? Like, how did you go? Because me and Addie met on Instagram as well. Like, how did that happen for you guys?
I think we started chatting when I started my account, maybe like a month after I started my account. We started like chatting in our DMs, and I think he first replied to my story about Grey's Anatomy. I think that was correct. And then he asked
Grey's Anatomy.
He had asked if I had watched The Resident, because it was a medical drama as well.
Yeah.
So we just started talking and we got to know each other more. And before we knew it, we were best pals, and we literally tell everything to the other person. We talk about anything, and yeah.
That's beautiful.
He's
That's
the best
beautiful.
person you could be a friend with.
Oh man, he's one of a kind. You are, man.
Yes.
This is basically going to be the podcast where we just talk about how awesome you are, mate.
Nope.
So that's and on your the Instagram, like I've read a bunch of your stuff as well, Leanne. And is it just a site where you write sort of these film essays, or do you have sort of any audio stuff that you do, any video stuff that you do? Or is it just kind of are you a film journalist? Is my question.
I'm not. This is just something that I do in my free time. It's like a side hustle, you could call it, or a hobby. That's way. I guess it's this way. I never really intended for it to be anything else. Anything other than that.
Side hustle's a good way to put it, but in order for it to be a side hustle, you probably have to make money from it, and I don't think any of us do
True.
that. So.
I don't make any money.
No, nobody makes any money on Instagram unless they're selling their bodies or their cleaning products or something. So, but we're so happy to have you here. And today, as you heard in the roundup, folks. Wait, hang on a second. How are you, Addie? Holy shit, how are you?
I'm doing okay. I'm very excited for this episode, and I'm really, really pumped to have you here, Leanne.
Thanks. And likewise.
Have you guys met in person?
We have called a few times,
Yeah.
but not over. We've never met in person, unfortunately.
Oh, okay. So like you've done this sort of thing. Yeah, but you guys are kind of closer than I'm I'm at the bottom of the planet. So it's a little bit tough for me. But yeah, as I said in the roundup, what's that?
New Zealand's on the bottom of the planet, not you guys.
New Zealand's next to me. It's not the bottom.
It's still below
the land
you guys.
down under.
It is, yeah. I'm the land. If I'm the bum, New Zealand is the anus. Is what? That's not me saying that New Zealand is an anus. By the way, all of our New Zealand listeners, that was just me trying to give some biology to the planet Earth. Anyway, let's move on as quick as we can from that. We're talking about the Arrowverse today. That was your pick, Leanne. Why the Arrowverse? What is it about this specific area of the DC multimedia beast that speaks to you so much?
I guess it's been a franchise that, unlike the DCU and MCU, I grew up with, and it's one that I have held close to my heart. And despite like any ups and downs it has gone through, or any like rough spots it has hit, it's still always been one franchise that did its best when it could. And it's not always the best, it's not always it's not always perfect, but it does have, when they do make good stuff, they really do make good stuff.
Yeah, it's sort of like started really small and intimate. Like I remember the ads for I mean, we'll get into it, but for Arrow, and it was just this story about a dude who was stranded on an island, then came home to save his city, and then all of a sudden it becomes this multi-dimensional pulling in from other sources, like pulling in stuff from Smallville and Titans, and became this really, really big thing. Unfortunately, a lot of them have kind of gone the way of the dodo now, since Arrow and now Flash is wrapping up as well. And Legends has been cancelled, is that right?
It's been cancelled, unfortunately.
Did you cry?
I mean, when the news first broke, it was just like more shock than anything, because nobody really expected it to be cancelled. Because the CW hardly cancels their shows, but since I think with the takeover of DC and Warner Brothers by David Zaslav, I think it had to do with something. It had to do something with the cancellations of both Legends and Batwoman.
That's a shame. That guy's a dickhead. Anyway, we'll get to more Arrowverse stuff. We'll get into favorite parts and sort of how we all our experiences with it. But before we do that, we have to ask the question, Addie. What are we
watching?
Yes, our timing is way off again, but that's totally fine. So what are we watching? Well, let's go around the room here. Leanne, what have you been watching this week? Movie, TV, whatever you want, that you thought was particularly good?
Well, I have been watching more TV now that I guess the spooky month has ended. I did go a bit on a movie overdrive in October, and I watched up to 53 movies. And
53 in a month. That's almost 2 a day. You are my type of person.
True.
I like that a lot.
And I hardly watched any TV except for like weekly episodes for shows that were still airing. So this week I've been watching The Walking Dead. I just started it, and I'm on season 2.
Is that a rewatch situation, or have you starting?
No, I just started it.
Oh wow!
So
okay, so
just perfect for the horror month.
Oh yeah, it's very good for October for sure. How are you liking it so far?
It's really, I love these kind of survivalist TV shows, like where they have it's a group of people coming together and finding a common goal, and that is to survive together despite all the crazy stuff that has happened. I guess, yeah, and it does feel like rather comforting in a way. Feels like a comfort show because of all these characters and how real they make it, how real they become, and how the writers and the creators of the TV show explore them and their interactions with the other characters as well.
Yeah, absolutely. It's you feel like they're old friends by the time you get through one season. The thing that I found interesting about that show is how quickly it turns. So the first few seasons, they're dealing with this epidemic of, all these zombies and stuff. And then by the time you get to kind of season 3, season 4, other people start becoming the problem, not, the zombies are one thing. And then you've got all these horrible people dealing with the end of the world. So I'm excited to hear, how you sort of feel about it as you go on. Addie, what have you been watching? Superman. You watched Man of Steel 785 times this week. There's not even that much time in a week, but you did it. You managed it somehow.
Yeah, fuck. I actually watched it twice.
Yep. I see.
Yeah. I started Lost. Like
the TV show?
The TV show? Yeah.
Holy shit. Okay.
Yeah. I started Lost. I started Doctor Who.
From where?
No, from the 2005. Not going back to the 60s.
I was gonna say that's like wow, you're looking down the barrel of like 1,000 episodes or something. So
I can't do that, man.
No, that's too much. And how are they?
These are amazing. Doctor Who is a bit more, but I'm interested in Doctor Who more than I'm in Lost because I've always wanted to watch Doctor Who. Lost is interesting to say the least. I watched the first 4 episodes and it's intriguing every episode. It's also really long, like 22 episodes, 42 minutes per episode, and like I can't do all that. I'm a hour episode guy.
I get that. Yeah, I also, maybe it's old fashioned now. I don't know, but even these Arrowverse shows, they're 21, 22, 23 episode seasons. 42 minutes without advertisement or whatever. That's a dedication in time that I'm not 100% sure I have. But Lost is like, that's 12 seasons, buddy, or something. That's
6 seasons.
Is it only 6? Okay, well that's not too bad. Cool. Well,
what are you watching?
What am I watching? I've been super busy this week in production mode, getting the Screamathon episode of the Stitch Up out, and also a bunch of work stuff, like the trailer I sent you, and for the theater show. And now I had a little bit of time, and the other night I watched 2 movies, which is the first time I've had an opportunity to do a double bill that wasn't at the cinema to myself in quite some time. And they were like straight up punts. I wasn't even sure what I was looking at. I watched Man of Steel the other night, and thought, I love me a bit of Henry Cavill. Let's have a bit more of him. And I watched a film called Night Hunter, and it's Ben Kingsley, Alexandra Daddario, and who else is in it? Stanley Tucci. And it was, I've always avoided it because the title sounded so meh, like, oh, Night Hunter. I bet it's some shit heap serial killer movie. And that's what it is, but it's not a shit heap one. It's really good. Henry Cavill is playing so against type. He's this really gruff, over the hill, worn out detective guy, and he teams up with Ben Kingsley, who's like a vigilante, and they're hunting this serial killer who sort of rapes and deafens women. I don't know if he's a serial killer, then he's a serial offender. And it was awesome. It felt like a real European kind of thing, like a Scandinavian or Finnish kind of TV show, very dark and moody. That was really cool. And then I watched a film from 1981 called Thief with James Caan that was directed by Michael Mann, who directed Heat and Ali and Collateral, and he's Miami Vice, but less said about that the better. And it's one of his first pictures, and I watched it for another podcast, not one that I'm on, Addy. I'm not cheating on you. I'm not podcast cheating on you, or you, Leanne, either. I wouldn't do that to either of you. It's a podcast I listened to, and that's one of the episodes they're doing in the next couple of weeks, and I'd never seen it, and it was out fucking standing. I think it might be Michael Mann's best movie, apart from Heat. I loved it. Go and check it out, everyone. James Caan in Thief. And now that we've done all that noise, would you like to, both of you, do some nerd news?
I guess. Sure.
I love the delay, like, yes, I guess we have to. Well, in that case, here's the nerd news theme. All right, this week on Nerd News, I have to open my phone. I should have done that before. These are interesting ones. Do you want to save the really important one to the end?
Up to you, man.
Yeah, I think we'll do that. Spoilers, like no one knows what we're going to talk about. Spoilers for a Black Adam. If you haven't seen Black Adam, then what are you doing with your life? No, I'm joking. It's totally fine movie. It's a bit of fun, but we're going to talk about some stuff that pops up in it that is important to this week's news. But before that one, this one I only saw today. I think you said it to me, Addy. Yahya Abdul-Mateen II has been officially cast as the lead in a Wonder Man Disney Plus series. And even though I said that should have been Nathan Fillion, I'm 100% here for it. He's awesome. I love that actor so much. Thoughts, feelings? Anybody try?
I have no idea who Wonder Man is, but I'm good. I'm glad to see him in the MCU now, because he's going to be in MCU and DCU.
Yep. Who is he in the DCU?
Black Manta.
Oh, he is, isn't he? That's right. Oh shit! I need to rewatch Aquaman. Clearly, Wonder Man was a West Coast Avenger who's like I don't know if he's got superpowers. I don't know what his powers are, but he's basically this superhero is also a celebrity, so I think it'll be kind of taking the piss on the way that WandaVision was kind of making fun of different eras of TV. I think this will be like making fun of what it would be to be a celebrity and be a superhero. And Ben Kingsley's going to be in it again as Trevor Slattery, which is pretty cool. So I'm excited for this. And speaking of Disney stuff that might make people do backflips, do you think they're doing a Vision show?
Yeah. What about it?
TV series entitled Vision Quest is currently in develop at Marvel Studios. And why wouldn't you? You know? Is he going to be White Vision? That's my question.
Yeah, no shit. What else is going to be?
I don't know. I thought it might be, maybe he be coloured in Vision. I don't know. It'd be funny if he turned up and he was just done in crayon. Like he tried to do it himself. That's a shit, Paul Bettany.
Taika Waititi is not directing it, so it's probably not a crayon version of it.
That movie was done in crayon. Did you like the fourth? Oh, you can't say the fourth Thor movie. It's too difficult. Did you like Love and Thunder, Leanne?
Yeah, I think. I mean, I know now there's a lot more negative reactions to it, but when I first watched it, it was like basically all I was looking for. It was a fun movie, not without its flaws, which is quite a few, unfortunately. But I mean, you gotta know what you're going in for movies sometimes. You don't expect too much, and I kept my expectations moderate, and yeah, I think it was a rather fun time.
I think you're right. Expectations are the key thing. Everyone was expecting Ragnarok 2, and that's not what they got. They got a cartoon. And we talked about that, and that's totally fine. Just wasn't for me, but maybe that's because I'm 178 years old. Okay.
You're an elf.
I'm an elf. I'm a djinn or a nymph.
Or Gandalf.
Or Gandalf, yeah, that's right.
Yes!
I'm going to come back.
Oh, yes.
Reegs the White. I'm going to come back and, oh, yes, that's what they called me. Right, here we go. I just slipped into Ian McKellen really, really well there. This one might be interesting. This one's pretty interesting. Not only was Kevin Feige asked to run DC Studios by Zaslav, but when he declined, they went to James Gunn, who accepted the job. And as of today's date, the 2nd of November, 2022, he is in the position. Today is his first day on the job. Well done, Mr. Gunn. How do you two feel about that, being DC fans? Start with you, Leanne.
Honestly, I think it's rather. I think the DC is DC Universal. Is it DCEU?
Yeah.
Or just DC? I think they're moving. Yeah, I think it's moving in a better direction. Hopefully, I'm not too sure, but I do like a lot of James Gunn's projects. So.
Yeah, he's great.
Yeah, I do have faith in him. Whether he can handle the administrative roles and things like that remains to be seen. But honestly, as audiences, I guess what we're most focused and we're most excited to see is the projects. Anything behind the scenes, I mean. Whatever happens.
Yeah, you almost don't want to know about that stuff. Like, it's a good move to have a creative person in that position. And I think despite whatever reservations people have about those first three and then the movies that were made around it that kind of lived within what you would call the Snyderverse, at least they had a direction. At least they were going somewhere specific. And then as soon as Zack kind of had his problems with Justice League and went off, it all kind of went everywhere and no one really knew what they were doing anymore. So yeah, hopefully Mr. Gunn can find some direction there. So this last story, I have to do a quick, and Addy does as well, we have to do a quick recant because last week when we did the episode, I intentionally did stories for Nerd News that I thought were fucking bullshit, that were hokum, like Harrison Ford being mocapped to be the Green Hulk in the Thunderbolts movie or whatever the hell it is that he's going to be in. And one of them was that someone had been hired to, spearhead a new Henry Cavill-led Superman movie. And I said that was horseshit. And guess what, everybody? It's not. Henry Cavill has come out. Not only did he appear in and we said spoilers, so if you're listening still now and you get angry about this part, it's only your own fault. He appears in the... Holy shit, have you seen Black Adam, Leanne?
Yes, I have.
Oh, thank
So
God.
not right.
So
I would have
that's a
checked
destroyer.
out earlier.
Oh,
I
okay.
watched it on the opening day, so
Oh,
yeah.
good on you. A
Big
proper
catching
DC fan.
spoilers.
Yeah, so anyway, Superman, he does turn up at the end for the stinger scene, very, very briefly. And then a few days later, Henry Cavill came out himself on his social media accounts and said, yep, I'm getting back in the suit. We're working on it. It's going to be wonderful. It's going to be joyful. We're going to give people hope and happiness. And so much so that he's being replaced on The Witcher as well. Liam Hemsworth, the what I like to call Hemsworth Light, is going to be taking over for him on The Witcher because he's going to be busy doing Superman pictures for ages. Addy, I'm going to go to you first, sir. You're wearing the Superman t-shirt. Tell me how you feel.
I don't have words. I can't, man. I'm getting Superman back again. I fucking can't. Jesus.
I think I can
I
imagine
cried.
it because if I was to, if Christopher Reeve was to rise from the grave and not as a zombie, Walking Dead style, and was to get back in that suit, not in the chair either, like he's a completely healthy Christopher Reeve, and to be Superman again, I reckon I would have kittens. So I can kind of understand how you're feeling on that respect.
Yeah, I'm sorry you call it bullshit. It felt like bullshit, but it's real.
Yeah, it did. It felt like, hey, no one pay attention to the fact that Ezra Miller's been a dickhead. Whatever was going on with him, have a look at this stuff.
With them.
I have it looking on. Yes, you're right. Look and have it, and then have it, and it's them. Sorry, my mistake.
Yeah, let's move on.
I fucked up my pronoun game. I'm so happy for you, Addy. When I saw it and I saw that video of him, it's him. He's not been deep faked. He's on record as saying he's coming back. I thought Addy is going to be just. This is 2022 is your year, sir.
Yeah, it's the year of DC rising up again.
It feels like it. Yeah, I think so as well. Leanne, how do you feel about Henry Cavill's Superman? Because your Superman would probably be what's it, the Tyler
Hackman.
Yeah. Who is the little boy in Road to Perdition? The Tom Hanks movie from like 2001, which I rewatched recently. Anyway, sorry, I cut you off. But how do you feel about Henry being on the big screen?
I mean, overwhelmed and happy, obviously, but I think Eddie is obviously he was more overwhelmed than me, but it was still such a shock seeing him on the big screen again, even if it was towards the ending. I did manage to capture it with my phone. Like, I was videoing the last part, and I was like, unfortunately, my theater reaction was not very loud at all. Maybe just a few like shots, gasps, but no screaming really. So yeah, it was really tough trying to keep the news from him, as he had not watched Black Adam yet. So I kept telling him, please go and buy a Coke or some kind of drinks because you need the energy to scream. And I don't want you to run out of water or anything when you watch it because you're already gonna scream.
You need all that extra caffeine to scream. But what if he had a full Coke and then Superman appeared and he went like that and just got it all in his face? Then he'd have you to blame. And then he'd fall down the stairs stumbling drunk on Coke.
Of Coke?
Yeah.
Nice.
Whatever. I had a Coke at a party the other night. It was a friend's 30th, and I don't drink alcohol, and I very, very rarely drink soft drink. I had one Coke. I was flying, man. It was...
It made you hyper.
It did. It made me... I was driving home just like this. There wasn't even any music on. I was just shaking my head like an idiot. So yeah, Henry Cavill back as Superman. God bless him. I really do like Henry Cavill. I think he's incredibly talented. I think he was shortchanged in those films. I think he didn't get the opportunity to be the Superman that he could be. That first movie is all origin. That second movie is overshadowed by Batman. And he's only in the last hour of either of the Justice League pictures that you might want to see. So come on back, Henry. Come on back, and we enjoy watching your big shiny S. That sounded much dirtier than I meant it to.
We've talked about Doctor Strange flying dick. Nothing's gonna pass that.
I know. I said that to a friend of mine today, Michelle. We were talking about being on the podcast, and I was telling her what our podcast is about. I'm like, yeah, half the time we just, start talking about whether or not Hulk would have a normal sized penis or not, which is just, I mean, nobody needs that. Anyway, regardless of all the big dicks, green or otherwise, that there might be around, we're going to talk about the Arrowverse. It does, it spreads over the course of how many years now? It's got to be at least 10.
Yeah,
I think
10
it's-
years, I would say. 10 years. Sorry.
10 years, yeah, because I remember Arrow starting just before.
20,
When was it?
2012.
It was
2012.
2012, right? Yeah.
That's exactly 1 year.
And that was your start. And then that went into Flash and on and on and on. Legends of Tomorrow, blah blah blah. So let's just probably the best way to get in is to talk about your relationships. But like I said, mine's very tangential. I watched the first few seasons of Arrow and the first few seasons of Flash, and then kind of fell off because I didn't have enough time more than anything. What was your experience of it, Leanne? Like, how did you discover it?
It's actually not me that discovered it, but my siblings. I remember watching like a few episodes. I never really binged through the shows until 2020 during the pandemic when I had a lot of time on my hands. But
Right.
I remember watching few episodes of Arrow and Flash in like 2016 when I was 12 years old. Yeah, I was 12 years old, and yeah, it was at first.
Can I just stop you for 1 second there, and just to double check that I got this right? Did you say that you were 12 years old in 2016?
Yeah, that's correct.
Keep going.
Yeah. You are Gandalf, my friend.
Just excuse me while I have an early bird dinner and have an electric thing set up on my stairs. That's crazy. Well, thank you for coming in and talking to this old fart. Keep going. So you watched them all during the pandemic.
Yeah.
Amazing.
And when I was 12 years old, my first impression of Arrow was that it was rather dark. And I wasn't wrong, because in season 2, I remember it being like a lot of like supernatural and mythical elements coming into play, the resurrection of Sarah Lance and what else? Ra's al Ghul. And it was rather dark, like as a 12-year-old watching it. And watching it in 2020 for the first time, like watching it all, it was probably one of the best binging experiences, because I watched all 8 seasons of Arrow throughout. And like, because it was so captivating and gripping with each new season and the new challenges that came with Oliver Queen and seeing how his character evolved. So yeah.
Did you, while watching that, because did you say it's 8 seasons?
Yes, 8 seasons.
Right. So did you watch just that, or did you dip that in and out of Flashes? Because I know that by the time you get to sort of season 3 and 4, they're jumping between each other quite a bit. Did you do that part of it, or?
I did watch The Flash, but I stopped there. I stopped like after season 2. Yeah, because in a way it was like kind of, it fell off a bit after season 2 and season 3. So I had a bit of problems keeping up with the show after that.
It does get very repetitive.
It gets monotonous. So, but I did watch Supergirl right after I finished Arrow, and then I went on to watch Legends of Tomorrow, and I had heard from like online reviews and things like that it was one of the best Arrowverse shows, like considered by fans to be one of the best and the most underrated. So I was like, let's give this a try and see how it turns out to be. And it did take a few seasons to find its full thing, but once it did, it was like just a breeze from then on. It was such a joy to watch and such a fun time. And yeah,
I remember us having a conversation about it when we were the first season of Superman and Lois came out, and we were chatting about that. And you asked me if I'd seen Legends, and I gave the first few episodes a go and just couldn't get in. You said it was a creeper, like you had to kind of watch to get in. But it's always, anybody who's a fan of the Arrow shows, that's always the sort of hidden gem that people kind of ignore, but it's the one that's everybody finds the most interesting. I do agree that the thing about the Flash, and I suppose the Arrow is kind of the same, that always bugged me was, does everybody want superpowers? Like all of them, everybody does. But then I've been recently reading the Flash comic, because it dips in and out of the Dark Crisis series that's going on at the moment in the books. And as Batman's the same as well. Yeah, everybody in their lives has superpowers. The kids, the mum, the dad, the grandpa, the dog, they've all got them. So it kind of, I don't feel as bad about it as I used to. Addy, we've talked about the Arrowverse before. You're a huge fan of Superman in general, but you like the Superman and Lois show, which is really interesting because it's a family drama. That's not what I was expecting from that show at all. What's your experience with these shows?
Yeah, me and Leanne both love Superman and Lois very, very much.
Well, why don't you start your own podcast about it then, hey? No, I'm joking.
Maybe one day.
Yeah, you could. Good, absolutely do that.
Yeah. Shut up, man.
Okay, sorry, you go.
Sorry. Yeah.
I will stop being funny for a second.
No, I was worried because then you're gonna spit out the fucking water from your nose.
I might have. So yeah, big fan of Superman and Lois.
Yeah, my introduction to Arrowverse was Supergirl.
Oh, okay.
Yeah,
back door to get into that.
Yeah, I remember my dad watching like an ad, and it like had some kind of joke that I found it like really funny, but my dad didn't.
Is that how you knew that it was a good show for you? Because if dad doesn't find this funny, I'm going to think it's fucking hilarious. Me and my dad.
No. Not really. But yeah, I'd say Supergirl was like the first active show that I binged and watched like when it was on air.
Mm-hmm.
And I haven't watched the last season only because it broke me that it was ending. So I didn't watch the last season.
Yeah. And
I'm kind of happy with where I left off because after the last season, Flash was just fucked up. But I have watched like all the Crisis events, and I've loved the integration of like the inclusion of legends and of the 1 second scene of Titans in the very recent one, or like the previously recent one.
That was Crisis on Infinite Earths, was it not? That's right. Yeah, they had Lucifer in that. And Constantine.
Yeah, Constantine.
And 2 Supermans.
The double soups.
It was, crazy.
The weirdest one for me was seeing Brandon Routh as the Superman that he played in Superman Returns with the Black Kingdom Come S. Were you like that for you, Leanne, being a big fan of these shows? When they do that huge crossover, because that's the kind of thing that as a comic fan, I'm totally used to. Like that happens every other week. But for TV people, or for movies either as well, when you have them all crossover like that, it must be a huge undertaking. Were you just losing your mind watching those episodes?
I was pretty much, I was pretty much and it was like so cool watching the different episodes and which episode came after the other, and then it was like compared to like the other crossovers, it's considered not one of the better ones, but still with the inclusion of Superman, like Brandon Routh's Superman and Constantine and Lucifer, which is like those 2 shows, the respective shows, their characters in their respective shows are like some of my favorite shows. Them being in it was just it was my multiverse of madness.
My
multiverse of madness.
It's more multiverse of madness than multiverse of madness was. Yeah. Yes. The inclusion of and I really like the other crossovers as well. Crisis on Earth X is great with all the Nazi superheroes, or the Nazi superheroes in quotation marks. At what point did Superman and Lois come into it? The version that we now know from their show.
After Crisis, right?
Is that where they got introduced? Is it because didn't Superman get introduced in Supergirl?
He got introduced in season 2 of Supergirl.
Right. And how did that work? Like, had he always been in the universe, or was it an alternate reality thing?
I think, go on.
No, I think he'd always been in the Arrowverse. It was just they didn't really want to have because the undertaking of like putting Superman on TV screens is like in a TV format was like a huge undertaking, obviously, but I think they wanted to give more spotlight to Supergirl first, and then they brought in Superman as like a supporting character into Supergirl, and then from then on he did have a few appearances here and there, and he was in the a few of the Crisis crossovers, but he didn't get his show until 2020, if I'm not wrong.
Yeah, I remember it came out, and we were in lockdown here in Melbourne, and it was one of those ones that, you know, I put in my diary as like, this is the day that it comes out, and, you know, the new episode gets dropped, and then Binge, the son of a bitch. The Binge is a streaming service in Australia that's kind of akin to HBO Max, because we don't have that here. Sometimes it would not do them. It would not post them. And I'd have to wait till the next week, and then they'd post 2, and I'm like, well, you're jerking me off. Like, I need my soups. I dig that show a lot because, again, like I said, it's a sort of a family drama. And it's interesting as well that he's kind of well into his career as well. It's not like a young upstart Superman. The Supergirl show, Melissa Benoist, I mean, just forget about it. Like, she is a treasure. Like, what a wonderful actress. She's really great in the film Whiplash as well.
Yes.
As a side note. Yeah, it's a really, really great picture. That, in terms of how it went Arrow, lots of abs, Flash.
Supergirl, I think.
Did Legends first?
Supergirl and Legends around the same time.
Kind of the same time, yep.
Yeah, same time. And then after that was... I'm kind of losing track.
Yeah, there's so many of them.
I think we need to Google which ones came first.
Yeah, Captain Google. No, I think I've actually got it on Thingo. Hang on, wait 1 second. Everybody who's listening to the podcast, just wait while I look at my notes, will you? God, you're so impatient.
Black Lightning came
Black
later.
Lightning, yep. And then it would have been
Batwoman in 2019.
Batwoman, yep, which and they like replaced cast because that was a young Australian person.
And after that was Superman and Lois.
And
that's like the main TV shows of.
Right. And what about, so Flash, Arrow, and then there's Constantine, Naomi, which is a new one, the Brian Michael Bendis show, and Stargirl, which unfortunately just got cancelled after its third season. Yeah. Have you watched that one?
Yeah, I watched the Stargirl show, and it's not really like a main part of the Arrowverse because it kind of is not on the same Earth, so it kind of got incorporated with certain crossovers. Like for Constantine and Naomi, I think they were planned on being incorporated into the Arrowverse, despite being in DC TV, but unfortunately we never really got to see that for Stargirl and Naomi. But Constantine, you could call it part of the Arrowverse because he was also in Arrow. He appeared in a few episodes, and so it's not really like part of the main timeline, but he got brought in by crossovers.
It's the first season of Arrow is like kind of, it's pretty grody and run down. It's just this dude who comes back and starts whooping everybody's ass and killing motherfuckers too, like just straight up murking people. And it's interesting. And at the end, another thing as well, spoilers if you haven't seen the first season of Arrow, I mean, what are you listening to this podcast for one thing? But he doesn't win in the end. Those bombs go off. His best friend dies, and his best friend says, "Hey, stop killing people, you psychopath." And he does. And the other thing that they got killed off, in quotation marks, in the first season of Arrow was the voiceover. The first season has a lot of voiceover, and then as soon as the second season starts, it's only in the intro. Is that correct?
I think so. There were quite a lot of voiceovers, but I think
was chatting up a storm to no one.
But I think the flashbacks, scenes and sequences still remained, obviously. So
it was
so as to build up the story.
Up until season 5 or something, because that was like how long he was on Lian Yu. And I dug that. I don't think, and this might be a bone of contention between the two of you, I don't know. I don't think that Stephen Amell's a great actor. He's a very good physical actor. Like he's got, he's amazing looking. He's got a great physique, but he's also a very good stunt person into himself. But He'd sometimes swing for the fences on some of those lines he didn't have to. But then, that being said, it was still an enjoyable show, and he was surrounded by a great cast of the supporting cast. But then you look at The Flash, like the young kid who played, what's his name? The kid who plays Flash?
Grant
Grant
Gustin.
Gus.
Oh, I was going to say who did it first.
Grant Gustin.
Grant Gustin, wonderful actor. Who plays his surrogate father? Jesse,
The
Song and Dance Man. He's from
Jesse something.
Yeah, I want to say Plemons, but that's not even anywhere close to it.
Jesse Fisher. I'm not sure. I'm searching him up right
Fisher
now.
might be it. Let's see. Let's take a punt. Jesse.
I'm Googling him right now.
Jesse's girl. He wants to be Jesse's girl. That's the thing. I'm just saying that they're sort of surrounded by,
Jesse L. Martin.
Jesse L. Martin. Yeah, wonderful actor. And then, like, the acting got better, the budgets got bigger. More shows got incorporated. It became its own little thing, particularly at a time when the DC movie universe didn't know what it was doing. Where, for you, both of you, and whoever wants to answer first, where's the high watermark? Like, where did it get to where you were like, shit, this is why I watch these shows? Like, it can be an episode, or it can be a particular season of something, or an arc. Like, where did you go, yes, this has gotten as good as it's ever going to get? Ooh.
Leanne, you go first, because mine might be very recent.
All right. Well, it's kind of hard to pinpoint where it like reached an all high. But I remember there was a time where it was really, it was like riding the wave. It was peak, you could say. People would call it like peak comic book content, especially with all the shows running. I would say maybe around 2018 or 2019, before like the pandemic hit, and it kind of took a toll on the shows. But once Arrow and Flash, Supergirl, and Legends were all like rather established, and then they were like doing crossovers, it was really quite fun to watch all these shows get together, and all these actors and the different cast members. And I think it's not so much like, if you could like say, it's not really like a high they reach, but I think it's like when all these different cast members from the different shows come together and they had crossovers or just mini crossovers, it really felt like, behind the scenes, it really felt like it was a family in that sense. They were really, they really like, in that sense, really like an extended family, and you could feel the love, and you could feel the camaraderie from all of them. And many of them are still really good friends. And I guess that's a main part of why the franchise and the whole universe as a whole felt so intriguing and felt so welcome in a way. It's like really welcoming, and even to viewers, you feel like you're stepping into a family.
Yeah. I think that's probably comes with the fact that they spend years together making these things. You spend half a year making a season, and then it runs for 8 years or whatever. And they do all seem to have quite good chemistry, particularly when they first start happening. The crossovers and such, when you, like you said, you get Supergirl in there, and in comes the Legends. And Legends has got that other thing where it's like one of the cast members from that was in Arrow as a main character who came back from the dead. And all these weird, and then the Flash, you've got things like Cisco all of a sudden starts to get powers, and then we get alternate versions of people come in, and it's like there's always so much going on. They're never boring. That's one thing I'll say about it. They're never boring. Addie, where's your kind of peak? Just in your head. Like I said, it doesn't have to be a specific moment. Like Leanne said, for her it was once those 4 Prime shows had kind of found their groove together. And I think Supergirl even changed networks because it was on...
She was on CBS.
Yeah, and then they were like, nah, we'll have that... CW. Yeah, because they were going to cancel it. And CW was like, nah, we'll take that shit. We'll have some Benoist. Come on down. And Martian Manhunter's in that shit too, isn't he?
Yes, he is. That was my introduction to Martian Manhunter, and then I went into Young Justice. It was fucking awesome.
Jones, man, John Jones fucking rules. I think he's my favorite Justice Leaguer. If Nightwing's my favorite DC character, John Jones is my favorite. When he turned up at the end of Zack Snyder, spoilers for Zack Snyder's Justice League or whatever it's called. I don't know what you're allowed to call it. When he turned up, and it was Harry fucking Lennox as well. I was like, yes, Martha Manhunter. Anyway, sorry. Tell me your favorite moment. It's when Martian Manhunter turned up, isn't it?
Nope. Yeah, so like as mentioned before, the first season was in CBS and then CW got it, and they made the show more brighter. They have better writing. They had a new suit, they had a new logo, everything. Mm-hmm. And that was like the first few seconds, and then Superman shows up.
Yeah, oh really? Okay.
Season 2, episode 1, Superman shows up.
Maybe they were trying to be like, we can expand on this.
I mean, it's set up so well because like there's a plane going down in Metropolis and she can't get there as quick, so she phones him, and he's like, "I'm on my way," and then he flies up, and then they both catch the fucking plane. Like that's fucking DC, man. Yeah. This is the best shit ever.
They always turn up.
Yeah.
So let me just get this right. Sorry, she called Superman on the phone.
No, she calls Clark Kent on the phone.
Oh, right. Okay. Who calls Superman? He's got Superman's number on speed dial.
Batman calls Superman. Batman calls Superman.
Well, in this... sorry, was that your point that you were talking about? Was that your favourite bit?
Yeah, and then like the whole entirety of Superman and Lois. Every single episode.
Yeah, Superman and Lois is pretty great. That's the only one that's kind of still running, isn't it?
Yeah.
Let's not jinx it.
I said, no, touch wood. To touch myself because that's my last name. So, Flash is still going, but it's finishing up.
It's finishing with season 9, so I guess around next year.
Right. So, a Stargirl will probably finish its third season. So then, Batgirl's been cancelled as well. Legends has been cancelled. So if the ones that are still running are probably going to end. But Lois and Clark is the only one that's going to have any long. Lois and Clark, fucking hell. Sorry, I just got.
That's another show, man.
1994. Then
that's another show.
You know what? I guarantee you, Dean Cain and Terry Hatcher's Google alert just went off because they heard me say that. It's like Dean Cain's like, what? Where am I? Anyway. Regardless of all that, so it's Superman and Lois, rather. That's the one that's still, at the moment, going to be going for a little while.
Yeah.
Right on.
And Stargirl recently announced to be ending with season 4, I think.
Season 4.
I think it'll be running for one more season. Or season 3, I'm not sure. But yeah, still unfortunate that it's ending.
I think it's
that's the best way to do it, though. Like, tell the showrunners that this is it. Get one last season.
Exactly, not like cut their legs out from under them when they're either in the middle of shooting something or they don't know it's coming. Like they did with Angel, the Buffy spin-off. Even though they had a great final season, but the last 2 episodes were rushed. And the other question I had as well: have either of you watched Batwoman?
No, I mean, I did.
Oh, racists! No, I'm just...
Wow,
yeah.
Dude, that's
not really.
I mean, yeah.
I haven't watched it either. But the reason I say that I wasn't
racist fucker. Fuck off.
That's totally fair. No. I didn't watch it because it was, I wasn't watching any of them, so I'm racist against anyone, everybody, if that's the case. No, my question was.
Arrowverse or something.
I'm Arrowverse racist.
Fucking hell.
You hear that, everyone? I'm Arrow racist. No, not at all. I wasn't into it, and clearly you guys weren't either. But the reason I wanted to talk about it is because within the continuity of Batwoman, is that part Arrow and Flash and all that? Like, does it live in the same universe?
Or it's very much part of the main timeline.
It was okay.
Yeah.
If that's the case, then so there's a Superman in this universe, and he's married to Lois, and he's got 2 teenage boys, but there's no Batman because Batman's missing, is my understanding in at the beginning of Batman.
I think so.
Yeah,
I think he was like referred to, but I don't think he was much of a mainstay in the show or main figure.
Okay, because when in the first, I remember seeing some of it because I was watching those crossovers, and it was, I think at that time it was the young Australian actor whose name escapes me, and I'm also not sure of their pronouns, so I don't want to say he or she. But and then in the second season it was taken over by an African American woman, but I can't remember at what point, like, they mentioned Bruce Wayne. Like, did I see it in the trailer for the second season, or was it in the crossover that I saw? I can't remember. But I know they're at Wayne Tower at one point, and they're talking about Batman being missing, whether that was a trailer or in one of these crossovers. How do you have Superman in the universe and not deal with Batman? That was my question. Because I know he's kind of in Titans, but that doesn't really count.
About Batman and Superman.
Yeah, like, how do you have Superman have this whole big thing going on and then no Batman, you know?
Yeah, that's true. I think it also has to do a lot with budgetary reasons, and it's a TV franchise, so obviously less budget is directed towards there. So yeah, I think, and also for like many other reasons, like Warner Brothers not allowing them to use certain characters. So I think Batman is one of those that they aren't allowed to use. They did give Superman to the Arrowverse. They were like chucked in there. They were like, oh yeah, so I guess Henry Cavill isn't coming back, so you can have him for now. Yeah.
Well, that's going to be interesting. Like, are they going to be very red in the face now that Cavill's coming back? Does that spell the end of Superman and Lois? What was that? Sorry. Yeah.
I guess hopefully if nothing happens to the show, 2 versions of Superman can exist alongside the TV screen and on the big screen, hopefully. Yeah, because I see no reason. Sorry?
You can have the Joker, like there's a Joker movie, and then there's some other Joker stuff, and then someone else is playing the Joker, and then there's the young Irish kid in the Batman movie, and it's, I mean, I don't know why. We're all smart. Consumers of this stuff. So there's so many Arrow shows. There's so many episodes. Most of them are finished now, so that if you wanted to binge them all from start to finish and chronologically jumping between shows and seasons, you could absolutely do that. My question for you guys as Arrowverse fans is, what is your pitch to somebody? Like, we had a conversation, Leanne, when we were watching Superman and Lois. You gave me your pitch for why Legends of Tomorrow is really good. If you had to pitch the entire Arrow universe to someone who'd never seen any of it, what would you say? That's my question to you.
Shall I go first?
You can go first, yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. Wow, this is a rather tough question. As we're pitching the whole universe to someone, and it's just not just an individual show.
Exactly.
Well, I guess I would say that the universe is unlike the DC and DCEU and the film side of DC for like many good reasons, because it's a TV show and it's a TV show universe, and it's very intent on bringing the characters and their stories to life. First and foremost, and also because it's if you have the time. I know not many people have the time, but it's really good binging material. I mean, if you're willing to stick with it through the ups and downs, regardless of whatever flaws they may have, it still makes for a rather memorable binging experience. And you get to know these characters like they are one of your own, or they're like a family, something like that. So and we do get lesser Arrowverse characters introduced and being brought from the comics and being brought to life onto the show, like White Canary or Black Canary, a Dream, but many others like Martian Manhunter, John Jones, and Supergirl. All these are, you could call them like B-list superheroes. People would call them B-list superheroes in the whole universe of DC heroes, but they brought all these B-list characters and brought them to life and gave them, in a way, gave them stories to explore. And yeah, I guess if you are looking for character-driven stories, which is not always the writing isn't the most perfect at times, but still the dedication is there and you can't really deny it. So if you're looking to get into a hefty chunk of shows and episodes and seasons and this whole franchise and getting into it and watching it chronologically, I would definitely say give this universe a try.
Right on.
Yeah.
So that, folks, we're talking character-driven stories. We're talking long, overarching, seasons of stories as well that mix in between each other. And you've got a bunch of really hot people like kicking each other's asses, which is fantastic.
Yep.
Also. Oh, that was my
main
reason.
reasons.
Yeah,
It's one of the main reasons you should watch it.
Oh yeah, there's a lot of beautiful people in these programs. The woman who plays Golden Glider in Flash. Is it Golden Glider? It's. She's like with. When Snart and the guy plays
Glider.
Yeah, is it Golden Glider or just Glider? I can't remember. She's very beautiful was my point, but then again,
she's the one in the Flash. She's being played by Peyton List. She's the actress that plays the Golden Glider.
Yeah. She was in Mad Men.
Yeah.
And I always thought she was.
She looks familiar.
Yeah.
I thought she looked familiar.
Lots of beautiful people. Absolutely. Jesse Martin, who we were talking about before. Okay, Addie, put your phone down. Put your phone down. This is we're journalists. Serious journalism. What is your elevator pitch for? Hey, watch the Arrowverse.
Okay, first of all, I was trying to find the person that both of you were talking about.
I don't know. Could have been on Tinder or whatever. I don't know.
You have to pay for Tinder. I'm not that free.
Wow, nice comment.
Does Tinder cost money?
Fuck yeah, it does.
What? Why?
Wow. No, it costs money to find love.
Yeah, love's not.
It costs enough energy.
Yeah, that's absolutely right.
It costs you enough energy, and now it costs you your money and your purses.
Oh man, what a minefield being single. Addie, go right ahead. Your elevator pitch.
Right. I would say watch. My elevator pitch for just watching the shows is watch Superman and Lois because it's relatively disconnected from everything that came before.
Agreed. But
also has the spirit and the love for those characters that was present in those shows.
Really.
And watch. Yes.
Probably
the best acting in all of.
Oh yeah.
Arrowverse. And then watch Titans because Titans very disconnected from everything, and it's got character arcs, and it's got bunch of people that you have no idea about, but you might love, you might like, or you might hate. Like I loved Red Hood, and then I watched Titans, and then I started hating him.
Probably says more about the actor than the actual character, but sure.
True. But yeah, I mean, they have Dick Grayson and Jason Todd meeting. Like, when has that never not been fun?
Yeah, they're the best together, and the two actors who play. Even though we're constantly pitching, Paul Mescal playing Nightwing, the young Australian actor who plays.
Do not take away the idea from me, please.
No, I'm hey. Daisy Edgar Jones and Paul Mescal for Nightwing. Let's make it happen. So before we take off, what we're going to do is our favourite shows and favourite characters. 3 each. Let's go. What do you want to do? Like from number 3, favourite shows, and we'll go around the horn and do 3 like that.
Yeah. So
Okay.
3, 2, 1.
3, 2, 1. Okay, so let's do favorite shows, starting with the third favorite show, Leanne.
Right, my third favorite show will be Arrow. And my second favorite show will be Superman and Lois. And my favorite show of all, the Arrowverse, is Legends.
Of course.
Legends of Tomorrow. Yeah.
Of course.
It's my
What
favorite
else would
show.
it be?
Yeah.
That's I kind of picked that's what your order would be, actually, and that's we don't even know each other properly yet, so that's beautiful. Addie, what's your 3 favorite shows?
My third is Titans because I love Nightwing. So
Mm-hmm.
yeah.
Of course.
My second is Supergirl,
Okay.
and my first is Superman and Lois.
Of course. I think we're all going to go for that. I don't have as much previous with these shows as well, and I don't watch Batgirl because I'm Batgirl. I got it wrong anyway. I don't watch Batwoman because apparently I'm racist. But no, I haven't watched Supergirl. I haven't watched all of Legends of Tomorrow, so I'm not a great gauge. So of the things that I've seen enough of to have an opinion, Arrow number 3, and that's mostly because of Stephen Amell's abs. Titans number 2, that's mostly because of the guy who plays Nightwing's abs.
Yeah.
And Superman and Lois because I love that it's unexpected. It's you know how rare it is to pick up a piece of material, pick up or watch or read or whatever, piece of material for a characters that I've been familiar with since as long as I can remember. Like, I don't know a time when I didn't know what Superman was because I've been a comic book fan since I could read. To find new ground in with these characters and with these themes and with these shows, it's really special, and I really adore that show. I think it's very well made. It's very well written. It's got a great aesthetic. And again, what's the actor's name again? Tyler
Hoechlin.
Tyler Hoechlin. Tyler Hoechlin's abs as well. It's all
Yes, I was gonna say you left out the best abs, man.
Yeah.
Fuck.
All the abs.
all of the abs. Yeah, mostly the abs. There's a lot of female abs too, and look, we love it all. So now, favorite characters. Now, there's so many to pick from because we've had so many crossovers. I'm really interested to see, and let's not be obvious. Everybody loves abs. I mean, Superman. But let's surprise people. Leanne, what are your favorite 3 characters from 3, 2, 1?
Alright, so my third favorite character would be Oliver Queen, who is Green Arrow, because when he was adapted from the comics, he isn't a most comic accurate character.
Really
that
is,
was being adapted. He's more like a Batman that is shooting bows and arrows, and he's like a archery Batman. So
he is.
that, in a way, and he borrows a lot from the Batman mythology and the comic book stuff. But as a character on his own, in his own show, he really does go through a lot of change and evolution, especially throughout 8 seasons, as he learns how to grapple with his trauma that he went through in the Lianyu Island. And he did have to learn how to stop killing people, which was a big part. He was a bit like a psychopath or sociopath rather.
Yeah. I mean,
so and
totally.
He also I think he had a kid. He got married. He had a kid. He had to learn how to work with a team. And basically his story is one that concluded, for me at least, rather satisfying in that way. And throughout 8 seasons, you just get to see him grow as a person, right? And my second favorite character would be Zari Thomas. Many of you guys may not have heard of her, but she's a character that was introduced in Legends. I think in the 3rd season, she was introduced in the middle of the season.
Mm-hmm.
She is a hacker. She was a former. So because Legends of Tomorrow deals with it's a time travel TV show. So she's actually from the future, where this military organization takes over North America, or basically where the shows are based in. It's called Argus. Many of you guys may have heard of it. So they basically take over and they become a militaristic type of governing system, and basically anyone that are religious or has a faith or religion, they are being hunted down and being jailed. So, and Zoe Thomas is a Muslim, so she's on the run from these Argus officers and soldiers, and so the legends find her and they pick her up, and at first she's rather suspicious of them because these people are supposedly from 40 years back, and she's in the future, and all these things are the news of her. And her character is very hesitant and very controlled at first. But as the seasons go on and as the show went on, she started to open up to them more, and she became like a very established character, especially on the show. And her character is one that I think many people who are either like immigrants or people who are being just being singled out for who they are or their identity, or even maybe their faith or religion, can relate with, because she was being also being singled out for it and being persecuted, like in that sense, unfairly. So the character is one that is it's not the most compelling at first, maybe for some, but she's one that is, so in a way, I'm just talking around in circles now. I'm trying to.
No, that's okay. That's fine. You're saying that she kind of grows on you, like because
she grows. She's a character that she grows on you, and she's not the biggest talker, but she also like. Yeah, I'm saying the word likes too many times.
That's fine.
That's what you get when you do podcasts. Trust me, like we do it as well. It's totally fine. Does she have any superpowers?
Yeah, she not really superpower, but she has this wind totem. It's given to her, and she wears that totem and that necklace, and she helps channel those powers. And apparently, another thing I forgot to mention while I was talking about characters so much was her superpowers. And she is actually, if I'm not wrong, she is related to the DC superhero Isis. Like Isis, like the Egyptian goddess.
Yeah, no, I know you're talking about not the Islamic.
Not the Isis. But I think in the show, they made the conscious decision because she was Muslim not to name it Isis because of the negative connotations with it. And it obviously won't help. So they named her Zari Thomas, and I need to Google it now, so just to get my facts straight.
Does she have a code name?
No, unfortunately, she has no superhero name, so her name is just Zari Thomas.
Well, if progenitor is the name of a terrorist organization, you probably don't. You probably just forget about it. I'm John. I'm Tim. Tim the superhero. I don't want to do any special names.
Yeah, I'm just getting my facts straight because the original character, Isis, the Egyptian goddess, is also in Black Adam, or in a way it's sort of referenced in Black Adam.
Oh, really?
Yeah, that's all right. So I just need to get some of my facts straight. I'm Googling right now, so
all connected.
It's all connected.
I'm so intrigued to hear who your number one is then, because this is a deep cut.
Yeah.
Well, while you're googling this information, before you give us your number one, I'll do mine. No, I'll do mine quickly because I'm not as versed in these. Number 3 is John Diggle. Just because I love a sage like sidekick, who's also like keeps the hero on the right path, and also becomes a hero to himself as well. I really like Ray Palmer, mostly because of the way that Brandon Routh plays him. I think he's got a great levity and a sweetness and an earnestness that you don't get in some of these shows. There's a great darkness to a lot of it. And number one is John Constantine, because he fucking rules. I love him. Love John Constantine for all the reasons that I've mentioned, all the times that I've spoken about John Constantine on this podcast, ladies and gentlemen, which is at least once or twice an episode. So, did you come back with some facts? You got some facts, Leanne?
Yeah, so her character Zari is actually based off the comic book characters Adriana Thomas. And my computer is glitching a bit now.
Oh, that's okay. We can still hear you, all right?
Yeah.
So it's right. According to what Wikipedia says, Isis is a superhero appearing in the comic books by DC, who is a separate Egyptian goddess also living in the DC universe, and this character is modeled closely after the main character of The Secrets of Isis, a live-action television program starring Joanna Cameron that served in the second half of the Shazam/Isis hour.
Okay.
And the subsequent incarnation of the character is named Adriana Thomas and was introduced to the DC universe in 2006 as a female counterpart to the character Black Adam, a part of the Shazam family of characters.
Right.
Yeah.
I wonder if they'll.
So that's like the bit of a link there.
Yeah, I wonder if she'll turn up in a Black Adam sequel or something. That's very cool.
My first character would be Sarah Lance.
Yeah. Yep.
From Arrow. Arrow and Legend. She's one of the longest running characters, cast members. Katie Lux plays her amazingly, and yeah, she's just one of the characters that's been so intriguing and compelling to watch them grow. And throughout two shows, because she first started on Arrow, and then she became one of the forefront characters in Legends, and seeing her grow and become a person apart from her trauma, like we saw her in Arrow, and becoming a separate person of her own and finding her own way in Legends is really one of the best stories and character arcs you could follow.
She's come such a long way
as she,
from being, you
follow her as she was. Yeah.
Sorry.
You follow her as she works through all her trauma, as she finds somebody, she finds a partner, and she falls in love, and she gets married. And unfortunately, if not for the fact that Legends got cancelled, slight spoilers for those who may not have seen, and if you guys don't mind, we will have seen her kids. Because of time travel, we will have seen her kids. Unfortunately. Awesome.
That's beautiful.
If it wasn't, and such a well-rounded story that almost came to a satisfying conclusion, but unfortunately, I guess the rest is up to whoever's interpretation of where her story went to. But yeah.
Well, hopefully James Gunn decides that maybe that show needs to be, revamped in some after a fashion, or maybe she should get her own fucking show. Addie, who are your favorite characters?
Fuck, I have to follow that greatness now.
Superman. No, sorry, go ahead.
I have to follow that greatness.
You said you weren't a film journalist before, and that's a lie. That was that they were, astute and specific essays on why these are your favorite characters, and we appreciate it. So don't fuck up, Addie.
Yeah, that's my superpower, dude.
Not fucking up.
No, fucking up is my superpower.
All right, so go. I tell you.
Fuck. Okay. My number 3 is Hank Hall or Hawk, who's in Titans, played by Alan Richardson, who plays Reacher in the Reacher series.
Yeah, he
Great
is.
show.
Talking about abs, yeah, Reacher's awesome show. Speaking of abs, that guy is cut out of marble.
I know.
Like he was photoshopped.
Yeah, he does look like he's photoshopped. Yeah, he plays Raphael in the Michael Bay produced Ninja Turtles movies. And,
He does, and he was my favorite part of it, and I had no idea that he played it.
Yeah, he did the voice and he did the mocap as well. And there's a really great episode of the actor who played Lex Luthor on Smallville has a podcast. I can't remember his name. He's also the voice of
Michael Rosenbaum.
Michael Rosenbaum has a podcast. Well done, thank you. And he talks to friends of his and celebrities and whatever. He's had heaps of people on. Like it's pretty great. And that actor who plays Hawk was on there talking about the horrible experience he had making the Ninja Turtles movies. Getting left on a tarmac, and all this kind of shit by the production crew, and they were just treated really poorly. Very interesting guy. Doesn't give a shit what Hollywood thinks of him. Is just a worker, and I appreciate that about him. So God bless Hawk. Who's number 2?
Yeah, I just want to say why he's my number 3.
Abs.
Yes, that's a fucking given.
Yes.
But yeah, he has a beautiful arc of being an alcoholic and then moving out of leaving the Titans and then not be getting better to a point where spoilers for Titans, he sacrifices himself for the team. And then there's an episode where they go back, there are people who are stuck between the bridges of the dead and the afterlife.
Yep.
And he saves them, and he's like, I can't pass that because I'm too scared that I'll forget everyone that meant so much to me. And then at the end of the episode, he moves on to the afterlife, and it's I hated that because they killed him. He's my second favorite because Nightwing's in there too, but they killed him. But that was one of the best Arrowverse deaths for me.
And he then got to go and be on Reacher. So there you go.
Yes, which was amazing. Yes, fuck show. Yeah.
Number 2?
Number 2 would be Alex. She's the sister of.
All right. I don't
No, that's not the name. Alex Danvers.
Alex.
From Supergirl.
Oh, great.
Alex,
yeah.
Who's Alex Danvers?
She's she's the sister to Kara Zor-El, also Kara Danvers.
Oh, of course. Yeah, I'm sorry. Yeah, that's totally my bad.
Yeah.
Why?
And because she's just badass, man. And she's one of
amazing.
Yeah.
That's good enough.
She's amazing. Yeah, and I think there's the episode of Barry Allen's wedding where yeah, I'm gonna talk about it.
Yeah, I'm talking about it. Sure, go on. By all means.
She sleeps with a white Canadian.
Sarah Lance. Both of them had a one night stand kind of thing.
Yeah,
representation for the varying sexual varieties of planet Earth. I love it.
Yeah, it was fucking awesome. I love that because I never thought those characters would meet, and then that would happen.
People fucking DC, man. People get busy in DC. They do. Marvel is so sexless.
Like sexy price.
Yeah. It's like the only movie that I remember that has sex in it is like the first Iron Man movie. He sleeps with that reporter, and then that's about it, or whatever.
Maybe Eternals, and even
that's right.
That was in the sand. That doesn't count. That was in the sand. Fuck that.
Does sex not in the sand not count? Because if that's the case, then I haven't had sex a lot. I live near the beach. My studio is near the beach. Anyway, number 1. Sorry.
Steel from Superman and Lois, because I thought he was Lex Luthor, and then he's had the best arc there. Yeah, so Steel.
Well, there you go. That's the Arrowverse, everybody. Thank you so much for listening to us, the 3 of us today, ramble about this nerd stuff We absolutely love it. Go and check out some Arrowverse. Find a little niche for yourself. Do you like Arrow? Maybe you don't. Maybe if Arrow's a little bit too scary for you, like it was for Leanne, maybe you're 12 as well. So just don't worry about it. Go and watch The Flash, which is a little bit more colourful. Or if you like Supergirl, like you said, inspiration, or Melissa Benoist, go and watch that. Or there's lots of different areas. Or just dig in and enjoy it all. But we're going to close. We've got quite a few questions today because we have one extra podcaster with us. And you've brought some questions. We're going to go one for one. We're going to go one Leanne, one Addie. But before we do that, we have a new question theme. And shout out to JP, Johnny, my main man, who is an absolute legend. We were recording the studio the other day, Cable Sand Studios, which is the studio that I own with my business partner, Dan. And Johnny is one of our lead producers there and one of our lead musicians. And he's been working on some promo stuff for us. And he was leading the charge when we had the taiko drummers in. And it was amazing. And he's such a cool guy to work with. So thank you, Johnny. Thank you so much for this new questions theme song. And here it is. Here we go. We're here for questions for the first time with a third question partner. I'm so excited. Leanne, you've got a bunch of questions from your fans.
Yeah.
Eddie, you've got a bunch of questions from our fans. We'll go one for one. So, Leanne, you go first, and we'll go rapid fire because there's about 482 we've got to get through. So,
right. This first question was submitted by the one and only filmatic or Adi. He asked, "Who's the biggest simp between you and that stupid filmatic guy?" So, well, I guess you are the biggest simp.
I think so. I concur.
mean, he sims a lot of people. I don't simp many people, but when I do, I stand them a lot. In that sense. Yeah.
Well, I think your question has been answered there, Addie.
Well, I guess it's you. I think it's you. Definitely you.
Oh, it absolutely is. Yeah. Sorry, Addie, you go.
Yeah, see, mine ones are not that interesting anyway. Mine's are serious.
What's the question?
Like, question one is, why do you think the Arrowverse was as successful as it was?
I guess. Should I answer?
Yeah, go for it. Yeah, just
please.
bring it down to like a sentence.
It came out in a time where DC wasn't doing very well with the films, and the MCU was just beginning, didn't really have a TV show universe of its own. It was just starting to get going with the movies and stuff like that. So I guess it thrived in that area. If that answers the question.
Yeah, I think it's got broad appeal because there's lots of different, like I said before, there's lots of different areas of that show. Like if there's something you don't dig about one of them, there's something else for you around the corner. So yeah, broad appeal. What do you reckon, Addie?
Yeah, one sentence, right?
One sentence. Close to. If you want to get through 19 questions, we're going to have to be succinct.
Yeah. I think it came around the time where DC fans were eager to see what these characters could do because they weren't adapted yet. And when they finally got it, and then they did the crossovers and everything, it gave the DC fans hope that this could actually work in film. And then Joss Whedon came in and fucked everything up, and we're back on track now.
Joss Whedon came in and did a lot of things he probably shouldn't have. Fucking jackass. Yeah, what a dick. All right, what is your second question, Leanne?
Who's your favorite actor? I guess we could all go around.
Yeah, sure. You go first then.
I guess my favorite actresses. I can't really lie when I say this. I'll just say the whole Hawk/Thurman family.
That's
Ethan Hawke.
That's totally fair.
Uma Thurman and Maya Hawke. Yeah, just great acting genius, looks, charisma, skills, all passed down. It's amazing. The family. Yeah.
They're wonderful. Maya Hawke was in a really great film.
Mainstream or Do Revenge?
Garfield. No. Film with Andrew
Garfield.
Mainstream.
Mainstream, which was outstanding. Like, I really love that film. Sorry, Addie, who is your favorite actor?
Henry Cavill.
Abs again. It's the
Yeah.
Hey, welcome back to the Abs Addict podcast.
Yeah, you guys should honestly do one dedicated to apps.
We're gonna have to. We've talked about it so much.
Well, we have the X-Men thing coming up, so maybe then.
There'll be plenty of abs in that. Hugh Jackman, please.
Yeah.
I thought it was favorite actor from the Arrowverse, but my favorite actual actor. Oh man, that's super tough.
I swear to God, if it's not Kevin Bacon, I'm leaving.
I do love Kevin Bacon, but no, I really like Tom Hardy. I think not pre Venom Tom Hardy, like when he was still almost a character actor. Really, really great. Or if you're gonna go for a classic, Al Pacino.
Yeah.
Right. Okay, Addy, what is the question number 2? So we've done 3 questions of 19.
Shit, this is a big one. Do you think another streaming service would pick up Stargirl? Would you recommend seeing the show?
I haven't watched it, so I don't know.
I definitely hope another streaming service will pick it up. Unfortunately, I guess none of them are kind of big enough to get picked up by another streaming service. But yeah, and what was the second part of the question?
Do you recommend?
Yeah, definitely watch it. It's one of the hidden gems in the Arrowverse, so definitely check it out.
Yeah.
There you go. You hear that, Jeff Johns? Someone's pimping your shit.
Yeah. Right,
Addy?
so
Yeah. I was gonna go on something about Jeff Johns, but I'm not gonna say it.
Fair enough. Have you seen Stargirl?
No.
Oh, okay. Well, then you can't recommend it.
Yeah, I'm not answering.
Shut up. And what's your next question, Leanne?
Question. It's a very nonsense question, if you could say it, sent in by one of my friends. It asks, tits or ass? Yeah, apologies on behalf of some of my very hormonal followers and very.
I have the best answer to that question.
Some of you guys really need. Yeah, some of these people really need some. Unfortunately, it's November, so it's not the best. But do your best.
Oh, fantastic! All right, that person wins the podcast. Whoever that was who asked that question, God bless them.
Yeah, I guess I could say, because he's my friend, he wouldn't really mind. Cinema Motto, if you're listening to this, you are.
They, she, whoever they are, whatever it is,
Yes.
you better be listening to this because you're a legend and you should have your own show.
That's question asked.
And to answer your question, ass, probably.
Yeah. Both.
It's all good. It's all good. Addy, what was your answer to that question?
Dicks. Let's move on.
Dicks.
Yeah, that works too.
Dicks and abs. Oh, amazing. All right, what's the next question? Like, bearing in mind that's a high bar we've set there, comedy-wise. What's the next question?
How do you feel now that the Arrowverse is over? It's not fucking over. Let's not jinx it.
Yeah.
That's my answer.
Well, I guess because it actually kind of is over because Superman and Lois they revealed that it's not in the Arrowverse, that it was the whole time it was a little bit in a separate earth. So yeah, bummer about that news. But I guess now that most of the main shows are cancelled or finally over, it's sad, but I guess they had a good run for 10 years. So
yeah,
it's gonna be sad, but I guess it's the competition became steeper as Marvel and DC upped their game. So,
as Marvel went to TV, like Marvel went to streaming, it changed the game, and they can afford to put the kind of money into their shows that DC can't for TV, because they get those big fucking giant mouse bucks.
Right.
What's the next question?
Right. So I guess this question, you and I, Adi and I could both answer it. What was the film or the moment that inspired you to start our film page or your film page? You want to go first?
Me?
Yeah, you.
Yeah, you can go first.
This is a bad one because I've never actually answered this question truthfully.
No,
So you're a professional liar then.
Okay.
No, I watched this documentary in 2020 called My Brother Jordan, which is about it's made by a person who lost his brother Jordan to cancer, and it's a documentary that took a lot of time to make, and you can see the the heartbreak and everything in every scene. And I asked him, would it be? And I was kind of contemplating to make a page or not, but I asked him if it would be okay if I review it, and he said, of course. And I reviewed it, the first post on my page.
That's great.
Yeah.
That's awesome. I'm gonna go back and look at that.
I guess for me, no particular film or moment. For me, it was kind of like a spur of the moment decision that came out of boredom, I guess. And I also had an idea that I wanted to write like film or TV articles or websites like Screen Rant, but Instagram and a Instagram account popped into the mix, and I guess I just decided to create an account one day, and I guess this is what came out of it.
That's awesome. Instagram's a good place to do it because the community there is,
Yeah,
it's very supportive. You get a lot of interest. Yeah. What's the next question?
Next question. How do you choose which film to watch? By the director, the star, etc. Bracket Film Crook. Sent in by Film Crook. Bracket. 2 exclamation marks. Answer goddamn. Answer goddamn.
Well, thank you very much for that very literary, very literal readout. How do you do it, Leanne, when you want to watch something?
I guess it depends if the plot first and foremost interests me, and sometimes the cast. Yeah, definitely the cast is a reason why I watch many films, and yeah, basically I just go by the feeling. If it looks interesting, sounds good reviews, I'm probably gonna watch it.
Yeah. So story first, and then all that other stuff. What about you, Addie?
No, you go first. I'm still searching for another question.
Okay. There is absolutely no system by which I watch things. It is completely random. I have a list of stuff that I would like to get to, or I might see a trailer for something and be like, okay, I want to see that. Or yes, absolutely, director and actors. Or if it's a story that does sound really good. But also sometimes I just take a punt on things as well. Or I sit down at the couch and go, okay, well, let's see what comes into my sphere first. Is it something a rewatch that I, nice and warm and fuzzy rewatch, or is it something I want to watch that's new? Like the other night, watching Superman. I like Henry Cavill. He's in this movie I've never seen. It sounded like a shit eat, but I'm going to watch it anyway because I feel like some Henry Cavill, and I watched a really, really great film. So yeah, there's no real system at all. I just watch as many as I can because I love movies. Addie?
Yeah, mine's a bit random also, but I mostly, when I do look into stuff, I mostly go by the director.
Okay, all right.
Yeah, like shows, yeah, like the cast and like what the subject matter is for the show, but for movies, I mostly go with like who's directing and what.
Yeah, right on.
Yeah.
So what's the last question then?
The last question is, would you all like to see Robert Pattinson with the CW Superman together? It is unlikely, yes, but hypothetically.
I don't know. I mean, yeah, if it was a hypothetical, as in the guy, what's his name? Tyler Hickox?
Tyler Hecklin.
I don't know. It's spelled weird. Yeah, I don't know if that fits. That world doesn't fit in that world. If you're going to bring Superman into the Batman universe, the Matt Reeves, the Batman universe, I don't know what that looks like because he doesn't belong there yet. Yeah. There's no. As soon as you start introducing science fiction elements into that story, it changes completely. So yeah, I'm not too sure about that. What do you guys think?
And how the fuck is? Yeah, go on. No, I was gonna say, how the fuck does Mr. Freeze make sense then?
Oh yeah, you were saying Mr. Freeze. What villain would we like to see?
Well,
You could do Mr. Freeze's science isn't science fiction. That's science fact. You could build a suit that's got like a refrigeration system.
He did fall into like Harley Quinn. He did fall into ice or something like that. Or something. He is an ice person. Like and Harley Quinn dropped into a vat of bleach. Right. Yeah.
And came out fine? Question mark.
No. Yeah, but I think pretty much the similar thoughts as you. It's two very different worlds, and I just can't really see Robert Pattinson's Batman in Superman and Lois universe, and can't really see Tyler Hackman's Superman in the Batman Reeves Batman universe. It's just very different. And I mean, if it works out fine. But if there was a Superman, I'd rather see with Pattinson's Batman, it would be Henry Cavill, because it's more connected that way.
And have him go, hey, you're shorter and not as old anymore. What happened? You don't look like the director of Argo. But yeah, either that or you just have Robert Pattinson play dual roles and he's Superman and Batman, because fuck it, that guy can do anything. Addy, what do you reckon?
Yeah, same. It doesn't make sense for Superman to be in that universe. What does make sense for that universe to have is a Richard Grayson. So please give us that.
Yes, let's bring in a Robin.
Yeah. Fuck the name also. Like just give us that kid that he saved in the funeral. Just give us that kid.
Oh yeah, that one. Yeah.
You're saying that should be Dick Grayson?
Yeah. His name is not Dick Grayson, but sure.
Yeah. Well, you can retcon it, that's fine. Well, all them Batmans, all them Arrows. It's been a lovely episode, everybody. Thank you so much for listening. We really do appreciate it. Make sure you come back again for some more fun stuff next week. And when you do hear your podcast, whether it's Spotify or YouTube or Apple Music, please do rate and review. It really does help the profile of the show, bring more crazy people into our crazy fold, like Leanne, our good friend and now co-host. Thank you so much for coming on.
Thank you so much for having me on. Such a pleasure.
Thanks for indulging me.
Definitely. Thanks for indulging me in my first time coming onto a podcast and talking nonsense. So,
no, that's literally that was the alternate name for the podcast, Talking Nonsense. But thank you for giving us a great topic. We hadn't got to the Arrowverse yet, and it was just great to have you on board. And is there anything that you want to sort of pimp out to people, like anything that you're doing specific on the Amateur Film and TV Critic page?
Nothing specific. For now, I am still just putting out normal, regular posts and things like that. And I guess we just see where things go. But I do expect for me to take a hiatus in a few weeks. It's just be going on a few weeks hiatus because I will be starting school again.
Sure.
And I kind of need that time to prepare stuff. But I guess I'll be back before the year ends with a bang. So.
There you go, everyone. Make sure you go and follow Leanne. As I said, it's Amateur Film and TV Critic on Instagram. We'll put the handle in the actual link for this episode. Addy, you, my friend, are a fucking treasure.
I fucking love you.
I fucking love you, mate.
No, I fucking love you.
Look, mate, I love you. We sound like two drunk guys at a bar. I love you, mate. Oh, no, I love you, mate. And he's talking to a ficus, which is a type of plant. What are you doing at the moment? Anything going on at the Film Addicts?
No, not really. I do have a Superman post I'm planning to post, but let's see when the fuck that happens.
Yeah, and anyway, it's just a shot of Henry Cavill's abs. So
yes,
thanks so much, everybody.
Or an ass, that's fine.
Or ass, or tits, or dick.
Yep. Just one more thing. I want to say. Both of you have one of the best romances out there.
What?
We have a wonderful romance.
Romance, yeah. Let's just look at it. It's so sweet.
We're adorable. Two pals coming together, finding love over stupid nerd shit. It's wonderful. And come and join us again next time. As we always say, Addy,
stay amazing and stay safe.